My name is Mike Mackert. I'm in the Stan Richards School of Advertising and Public Relations, and I'm with the UT Center for Health Communication. So my initiative is the Health Communication Scholars Program, which really sort of began life when I was a graduate student at Michigan State University. I spent 5 years working with Pam Whitten, who was a telemedicine researcher and a grant machine. And so I had 5 years watching how she would identify grant opportunities and write proposals and secure funding and execute those projects. And even as it was happening, I knew this was a really special opportunity I was being given to learn that kind of skill. Like, this isn't part of a structured class. And so when UT had a position in health communication open and advertising, I know for a fact this is why I was hired. It was not because I had ever studied or taught advertising in my life, because I hadn't. And so I landed here and had to figure out what I was going to do with myself. And the first thing I knew how to do was look for internal funding. And so I landed at UT and immediately looked for everything I could apply for. And I had tremendous luck. UT School of Nursing Chipper Pilot, that's how I met Mary Steinhardt. Summer research assignment, VP for research grant. Like, I attribute my success entirely to the training I got at Michigan State. So if you go back about 2 summers, Lori Holler and Steicher emails me and says, "Hey, did you hear about that provost thing yet?" It's like, no. And then I spent half an hour on the provost website trying to figure out what she was talking about, very unsuccessfully. I was like, oh, man, I need to know what she's telling me about, and it's a secret, and I'm dying here. And so a couple weeks after that, I get an email that comes in about 4 o'clock in the morning, and it says, "Congratulations, you're a provost teaching fellow. Here's $25,000 to improve teaching and learning at UT." And my reaction was, this must be some kind of email scam or trap, because no one tries to just give you money just for free. And so I was like, I read it again with a little more coffee in me. I was like, no, this is really a thing. And I immediately knew what I wanted to do. And it was build a program that would train graduate students interested in health comm on how to secure funding and fund their own research. And so I emailed Lori. I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm going to build this program and give a bunch of my study to students and let them do their own thing. And if you know Lori, she is just the calmest, most reserved person you've ever met. And she said, slow down. Maybe think about this for more than 10 minutes. And so I thought about it for another good hour or two. And I was like, no, this is really the thing I need to do. And so then it was just sort of full speed ahead. And I think before we'd even had the kickoff meeting for that first group, I had already asked our communication dev team to set up a website so I could start promoting this program. I asked the people in nursing, give me everything you use behind the scenes, because I'm going to steal everything from the Chipper pilot program. You guys have figured this out. I do not need to reinvent the wheel. And so you can see my website here that I used to promote it. The kickoff event for the program is a grant writing workshop. And I have had fabulous speakers, Mary Steinhardt and Julie Maslowski from Kinesiology and Health Ed, Lori Holler and Steicher from Social Work, Steve Kelder from Public Health, Sharon Horner and Sharon Brown from Nursing, and Jay Bernhardt and Aaron Donovan from Comm Studies. And they come in and talk about everything from inspirational, why do you care about funding, how do you do this for your entire career, all the way down to kind of the nuts and bolts of how do you write a great specific aims page. And so all the pictures you'll see then are from that event that was hosted this past October. And so students then form interdisciplinary teams. At least one grad student in communication, and at least one grad student not in communication, and a faculty mentor to help them along the way. And most teams have more than just the 2 students, and they've come from advertising, comm studies, journalism, social work, nursing, public health, kinesiology and health ed, pharmacy, information, ed psych, family and human sciences. We cover the entire campus, and it's really exciting to see these teams come together and write what amount to mini NIH grant proposals to secure $2,000 of funding to support their own research. And then some incredibly generous faculty, again, from across campus, come together as a little mini NIH study section. And each proposal gets reviewed by 3 people and scored. And we have a meeting and figure out who should get the funding. And I'll tell you, I dream of having such thoughtful, constructive, and helpful reviewers as these faculty are for these students. I always tell them, these are the best reviews you're ever going to get in your entire life, because the faculty really want to help these students get better at this. And those students get to go out and do their research. Last spring, we did a survey of everyone who had participated in the first 2 years. And we got both people who were funded and people who weren't, which is good because I didn't want just a bunch of people who got money telling me it was great. But across the board, even for unfunded students, they loved it. And this is a lot of work. This is not a small thing. And one student said it was hands down her best graduate school experience. Another attributed her tenure track job to the fact that she got this funding. Because she said, I don't just go out and say, I've been part of teams that got funding. I can go out and say, I got funding to support my own work. And everywhere she went, people loved it. So the data we collected is currently in press at the journal Health Communication, because I don't want what happens here to just live at UT. Like, I'm very, very excited about this, but I think this can improve the whole field and how we train the future health comm faculty of the world. And so I was really excited to be able to get that out there. I will say the PTF program in general, to Katie's point, and this program in particular is sort of the single best thing that's happened to me at UT. I love this program, and getting to give money to students is super fun. Mary and Lori in particular here is the picture with the first cohort of students that got funded. It is super, super rewarding. And so the thing I'll finish with, which I'm also extremely excited about, this program was supported by the PTF, kind of that initial launch funding. But it's been so good for the students and the faculty involved that the new UT Center for Health Communication has decided to make it a permanent program going forward. So this is going to live on at UT for years to come. So with that, I'd love to talk to you more if you have questions, but it is Rick's turn.